Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Hummingbird Arcana Podcast. I am Jo Hummingbird. I am an evolutionary astrologer and an Usui Reiki master, and I'm here to help you deep dive into the worlds of astrology, Reiki, mysticism, and so much more. And today, I wanted to bring you an episode on the upcoming Sagittarius new moon that we have happening on Friday, December 19th at 7:44 p.m. Central Standard Time. Obviously, this will happen at different times and different places for different locations on the globe and whatnot, in different hemispheres, different time zones. But for the people who live in the Central Standard Time Zone, like I do, it is happening at 7:44 p.m. Again on Friday, December 19th. This is going to be the last new moon of 2025, and it is thank God, is going to be so much calmer than all of the other moons I feel like we have had in the last half of 2025. There has been so much going on with the transits. There has been so much happening in the collective field of consciousness, in the geopolitical sphere, in the socioeconomic sphere. And I feel like overall, just as a result of everything, everybody is going through some form of like an emotional, spiritual, existential crisis. And this is a new moon that is thankfully going to give us a little bit more, not just ambition to be able to tackle life, but a desire to want to play the game still. And I feel like this new moon very beautifully sums up 2025. It puts a very, very optimistic spin on very, very, very hard times. So if you are interested in listening to this episode, then go ahead, stay tuned in. And if you are liking the moon series of having new moon, full moon episodes, let me know by liking the video if you're watching on YouTube and subscribing to the channel and turning on that post notification bell. But if you're not watching on YouTube and you happen to be streaming from a podcast streaming platform, then do me a favor and leave a review. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode or on any other episode I have put out, or if there's any other ones that you would like me to put out that I haven't yet. I am open to hearing your ideas, and I would love to get in contact with everybody here, connect further in this little community that I'm building. I'm so grateful for all of you that are listening and tuning in every week. So without further ado, without wasting any more of your precious little time that you're sharing with me, let's go ahead and jump into what you need to know about the upcoming Sagittarius new moon. Before we get into today's episode, I want to talk to you super quickly about Usui Reiki. Now, Reiki has been one of the most profound modalities of energy healing that I've ever had the pleasure of not only experiencing for myself, but also becoming certified to practice and teach to other people. This energy healing modality is believed to be the same one that was used by Buddha, aka Bodhisattva, as well as Jesus Christ, aka Yeshua, and his beloved Mary Magdalene when they were helping heal people from their ailments during their time alive on Earth. Usui Reiki itself has not only been the most impactful experience on my journey, but also the most rewarding for me. I've been able to help not only myself, but others heal different aspects of themselves. And I've also been able to certify several different students who are now healers themselves and creating their own opportunities doing that healing work. And if you're interested in becoming a certified Usui Reiki master, then join us live in January for the Usui Reiki Mastery course. This is a 7-week container designed to fast-track your way to becoming an officially certified Usui Reiki master by the end of February in 2026. So you'll get to become a master-level Usui Reiki practitioner and healer and teacher before the springtime of 2026. And this opens the doors for return investments by offering not only your own professional Reiki healing services, but also the ability to teach your own students and certify them in your very own way. The early bird special discount is still available for this course, and it saves you $333 in total course value. And if you use code ARCANA, that's ARCANA, at checkout, then you can save another 10% off. So this code is exclusively for my Hummingbird Arcana listeners, and the early bird special discount ends on Friday, December 19th, 2025, and doors for the Usui Reiki Mastery live course itself close on Friday, December 26th in 2025. I cannot wait to see you there. Now let's get back to this episode of Hummingbird Arcana. So, we start off this Sagittarius new moon with a couple of different things that I want to talk about, but first, we started off with the exact conjunction to Venus. This moon will be at 28 degrees Sagittarius as well as Venus. It will be at 28 degrees and 25 minutes. This is fire goddess moon. This is the final iteration of a fire sign. And funnily enough, Venus isn't the absolute happiest in Sag, but she's not angry either. She's just kind of vibing. She's doing what she wants when she wants. She's not taking no for an answer. And there's a lot of sovereignty that comes into play with this new moon. And when the new moon happens, it's when the sun and the moon are conjunct in the exact same spot. So obviously this will be, the sun and the moon already having been conjunct, and this is talking about the things that are being done in the dark that are festering, planting of seeds, renewal of cycles, the ending of something and the beginning of another. It's a very potent and powerful time. And for the goddess energy to be here in the last new moon of the year, which, happens to be in the last fire sign of the zodiacal wheel, this really presents a time for truth to be at the core of what we're operating from. Not in the sense that it's like, okay, me, self-centeredness all the time. It's, how does my truth make me feel in my body? And how is my body responding? Is it actually to my benefit? Is it helping my truth? Is it amplifying my authenticity? Is it allowing me to connect with large groups of people? Is it allowing me to help other people see that truth? Because, the sun, the moon, and Venus are all conjunct here. It's as much as we're experiencing the new moon on Earth, the total darkness where things happen in the shadows and in the unconscious spaces of our mind and in our spirits. This is also equivocally a time where the life force energy is in its highest potential state versus its highest kinetic state. I would say it's in the kinetic state whenever we're being like on a full moon, when it's being reflected back to us and the energy is coming right back on an axis of 180 degrees, versus something like this where it's at the same point, it's festering, it's building, it's gestating. It's exactly like planting a new seed. It's exactly where the sun needs to be in order for something new to begin. And so with the Venus energy being here, it's maybe, okay, how is this way of operating on my nervous system holding me back from taking inspired action towards this version of my future, or this version of having, my truth expressed in the most authentic way? Is being able to pursue that which I'm passionate about without restraint, without hesitation, without wanting to play small. Now, at the same time that this is all happening, this is, sun, moon, and Mercury conjunct, sun, moon, and Venus conjunct. But at the same time, this is where Mercury does come in. Mercury will be in Sagittarius at the beginning degrees after this whole Mercury retrograde from Sag into Scorpio, direct in Scorpio back into Sag. This is where Mercury is in detriment, because whenever we have a planet or a sign in an opposite house or sign of its rulership, or with an opposite planet of its rulership, this is what we call detriment. And if you listened to the Astrology Basics episode, I will link that down below, as well as in the show notes, or put a card on the screen here if you're watching on YouTube. But that episode, if you listen to that, or if you downloaded my Astro Basics cheat sheet for free, you can get that in the link below as well, or in the description, or my link tree, or wherever that's going to be listed for you. That also shows you the detriment positions. It gives you an understanding of, okay, when something's over here in the opposite of its home, that means it's in its furthest possible place from comfort, but it's on the same axis of its understanding. So it's in detriment, but it's in a position of growth at the same time. So with Mercury being in detriment in Sagittarius, this is because it's ruler of Gemini and Virgo. And what opposes Sagittarius? Gemini. So what do we just have? The Gemini full moon. This is where we're coming from. So when it comes to Mercury being in Sag, this is belief versus fact. This is, my truth is the truth, period, point blank, no questions asked. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you unless you rile me up. I'm not going to sit here and try to justify my feelings to you. I'm not going to sit here and do all the research to make you happy. It's, this is what I've been through. This is what I know. This is what I have to work with. And this is what I'm open to experiencing. And if you can't come along for that ride, then get to stepping. That's Mercury in Sag. So in tandem with the Venus, Moon, Sun energy conjunction happening for the new moon itself, this Venusian goddess energy, this is why I said this is like a fiery goddess moon. Even though Mercury doesn't rule a fire sign by any means, and it's in detriment in this energy, this is like, okay, no more letting the things that are internally in my mind stop me from expressing this part of myself artistically or emotionally, or through dance or through art or through creativity of some kind. And this, with Venus being here, this is the ruler of Taurus and Libra. These are two signs that have to do with balance in some of the most pristine ways in the zodiacal wheel, because Taurus is more about balancing the senses with the material world, and Libra is about balancing the inner and outer worlds of self and other. So this can be a time where other people may be hard to be around. Sagittarius is a very loner sign, not in the sense that it doesn't like to socialize and go party, but once that battery is empty, it needs to go away and recharge. Sagittarius is a centaur. It is half man, half horse. As much as you can logically use the mind part of this, the centaur, the man brain of it, for the lack of a better term, to think your way out of, limitation, 3D world, human density, there's also still that half of Sagittarius energy. That's the horse, the wild animal that needs freedom, that needs to be able to roam and do what it wants when it wants without anybody else standing in the way. And when you see horses roaming in an open pasture, you don't see them in a herd or a stampede like cows or like, bulls, or fill in the blank with what other animal, like a sheep even. Like there's no herd of horses that's going places all the time. It does happen in, more survival context, but whenever a horse is well taken care of, let's just hop on this metaphor. If you're working with your spirit guides, or you're working with your angels, your ancestors, your fill in the blank with whatever version of your highest truth, your highest connection to source energy, because Sagittarius energy ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is that energy. It rules Pisces as well, traditionally. So Jupiter does go into the highest, larger than life places. It is the biggest planet in our solar system. So when you look at Sag energy and you're like, oh, okay, and you place this into the metaphor of the horse in the farm and the caretaker of the farm itself. It's like the universe is the caretaker, your spirit guides are the caretaker, angels, again, fill in the blank with whatever. And then the horse is Sagittarius. When you're under the care of somebody else, you have to trust sometimes that they're going to actually take care of you, and that they do have what is best for you in heart and mind, even when it doesn't sometimes feel like it. There are some parts of grooming and taking care of a horse's health that aren't necessarily going to be fun for a horse to do, like, veterinary visits or shots, or it does something to keep up with medication in case there's something wrong, or, proper food intake and minerals and nutrition. Like there's, salt licking. There's a lot that goes into taking care of a horse. And so when you think of this Sag, Venusian, Mercurial energy, all in the Sag sector, the Moon, Venus, Sun conjunction, but then Mercury being over here in detriment. It's like the mind may want to have you sporadic and try to control everything, but the wild, ferocious nature part of you, regardless of being on whatever nice, pretty ass farm you're in and being taken care of, and you still will have some part of nature make you unruly, or there's something that you won't be able to control or have full means of understanding the highest perspective on, or the highest truth of. And this is also a time in which you're going to be challenged by those. Maybe that's the entire thing that's standing in the way of you being authentic, or expressing your highest self, or coming to acceptance with your own truth. Maybe that is what's standing in your way. Maybe it isn't, but you're going to find out. And this is where you get to do the work to change that. If you're not sure where to start when it comes to booking a session, I feel you 100%. With all the different wisdom that we integrate on our spiritual paths, it can really get overwhelming to look at all of your options for tools to help you integrate it. So if you feel intuitively called to book a session, but you don't know which one would be the best fit for you for what you're looking for, I'm now making free discovery calls available for you. And in this complimentary 30-minute call, we will briefly discuss what areas of your focus are on your path, with zero pressure for you to immediately book a session after. You are in the driver's seat the whole time, all the way through. Bookings for free discovery calls are open now, and the link is in the description box or the show notes below if you want to get one for yourself. Now let's get back into this episode of Hummingbird Arcana. Now, this all happening at the same time, this new moon will also be squaring the Neptune and Saturn conjunction over in Pisces, the other Jupiter-ruled sign. So Saturn, ruler of Aquarius and Capricorn, and then Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, in its sign of domicile. So this is, again, further grounding the dream, as we've seen in other moon cycles that we've had so far this year. There's a lot with that transit of Neptune conjunct Saturn, especially during its retrograde cycle that just happened, and we are finally fucking out of. We can breathe. It's me, especially as a Capricorn. When Saturn goes retrograde, ooh. I have a Capricorn stellium in the first house, and I have a Capricorn rising, so that is not fun for me. Anyways, I digress. This grounding energy of the dream in Pisces, this is a square directly to this new moon. So this is a challenge, but all mutable energy challenges itself anyway, no matter what area you're looking at it from. It's Sag or Gemini, that's opposing. You're doing Virgo and Sagittarius, that's a square. You're doing Pisces and Gemini, that's a square. You're doing Pisces and Sag, it's a square. You're doing Virgo and Gemini, it's a square. Regardless, mutable energy is going to be a challenge because mutable energy is about adaptation and change. And so this new moon encourages you to find grounding for your ability to express yourself and your dreams and your visions for the future, and to communicate them despite how hard that may be. Mercury's already in detriment in Sag. The two Jupiterian sides are squaring each other with the transits that are happening. This is already gearing up to be interesting and a little bit of a hurdle, but it's nowhere near the hurdles that we've been facing between the retrogrades and the Cazimi and the supermoons and the everything back and forth for the last few months. So as much as this is going to be an emotional challenge, it's not going to be as doom and gloom as that may seem from hearing the word challenge and the connotation that may hold. This new moon might even challenge the connotation you place on the word challenge itself. So that being said, the main themes that I wanted to address, other than the planets and what they're bringing to the table here, a lot of the themes are going to be around embracing feminine ferocity, because a lot of the times we associate, ferocious, warlike, conflicting, confronting energy with masculine essence. And masculine energy does do that in a time and place. Of course, Sagittarius is a fire sign, and that is a masculine energy. Fire is a masculine energy, period. That does not mean that with Venus, the goddess energy, being here, the moon, the other goddess energy of the zodiac, being here, that this is not a goddess energy or a goddess time. This is the time in which the divine masculine can serve one of its most high purposes that it has, which is to burn away anything that is not of service for the divine feminine's work by planting new seeds into that ash that was burnt down, because the ash then creates a nutrient-rich, dense soil for which that shit gets to grow from. So this new moon, you need to embrace like we were talking about with like the wildness and the centaur earlier, like the wild beast and the man. This is almost like that wild beastie man energy. Its purpose in this moment isn't just to be that wild manly beast. It is to be the beast to then tap in even further, to remember the depth of our being, to the remembrance codes of coming from the depth of source, the highest and most high, the most benevolent, beyond religion, beyond gods and goddesses, beyond any label of spirit guide, angel, anything you want to throw out there. There is a source of something that created all of it, whether intentional or not. And this new moon wants you to tap back into that and channel what it has to say to you, for you, through you, by you, and about you. So when it comes to understanding how the moon will affect you, you'll want to look into the houses, of course, where you have Sagittarius and where you have Pisces, because those are two signs that are aspecting each other. Those are the only cosmic conversations we're having this week about what's going on and pertaining to a moon cycle. There's nothing else happening in the sky that affects this. I mean, you could say that the Jupiter retrograde is by a 6-degree orb of separation, a quincunx, but that's so irrelevant. There's a 6-degree orb of separation that is not enough to meet a 4-degree orb to have a valid aspect, and it's not even a profound aspect. Quincunxes are not profound. The profounds are going to be, again, if you followed the basics of astrology, if you took the masterclass with me, I'll link that down below as well. But if you took the masterclass, if you watched the basics episode, if you've even looked at the Astro Basics cheat sheet, then you'll know that the profound aspects are square, trine, opposition, and conjunction. There's those. All the semi-quintile, semi-quincunx, all these other ones, they have meaning, but they are filler when it comes to moon cycles and mundane life. That is going into like nitty-gritties, itty-bitty, minute details. That's almost like looking at degrees and minutes type stuff. But this new moon is very quiet and very calm. So use this time to get back into the stillness, because we have the 2 Jupiterian signs lit the fuck up by this axis, by this new moon, by the energy that is challenging it, with Mercury being in detriment. And Mercury would be in detriment even if it was in Pisces too. Mercury's in detriment again in any Jupiterian ruled sign, because Mercury signs are opposite Jupiter signs. So the Pisces energy is lit up. The North Node is there. That's where we're evolving to anyway. The Sun, the Moon, the Venus, all in Sagittarius, lighting up the senses within the nervous system and in the body, and how to balance that out with the spirit. This is a perfect time to utilize the little chaotic mind energy that was created by your spirit, by the way. Even if we're all going through something collectively, this is our collective oversoul choosing to partake in something fucked up, which none of us know the reason as to why, other than learning and expansion and evolution. We can water it down all we want to. It's still not going to make sense to our human egos and our brains, because we are in survival mode a lot of the time. So use this time that is being gifted to us by the stillness of Jupiterian energy and the goddess wanting to be ferociously expressed, and for the divine masculine to want to hold that space for her from his divine wild ferocity. Choose to do so and see what happens for you. So look to Sagittarius, whatever house you have that in your chart. Look to Pisces, whatever house you have that in your chart. And if you're really, really concerned about it affecting multiple places of your chart because you have strong Jupiter energies or whatever, then obviously look to where Jupiter is affecting right now in your houses, in your natal chart. Not just your natal Jupiter, where is that sitting, but how is Jupiter in the sky right now in Cancer, currently retrograde? What conversation is that happening with your relationship to Jupiter? Because this is a Jupiterian ruled moon, and the other Jupiterian ruled sign aspects this, and it's the only aspect that gets made. So maybe take a look at where, Jupiter the planet is in your chart, and understanding how it's being aspected by Jupiter in the sky, how it's being aspected by Saturn and Neptune, how it's being aspected by the North Node, how it's being aspected by Sun, Moon, Venus conjunction for the new moon. So if you are interested in getting a reading to understand this, because this is a lot of words and it's a lot of talking in Greek, seemingly no pun intended about the astrology world for that, but this is starting to sound a little too confusing and you don't want to just listen to a podcast about it, book a session. They only start at $11, babe. It's super, super easy to get this information. It doesn't cost more than a fast food meal, and it can be one and done, and it doesn't have to happen again over and over again. I'm not going to scam you out of your money or nothing. I'm just over here trying to help you figure out your astrology. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it here on the Sag new moon. Let me know down below in the comments or the description section of your review, if you're listening on a podcast streaming platform and that's how you're communicating, what part of this Sag new moon are you looking forward to? What do you think is going to come through? Do you think you're going to sit down and journal or meditate? Or are you going to pull some cards? Are you going to go out into nature and get quiet? Are you going to just close your eyes and relax your nervous system because that's the first time you get to do it because of how busy you are with your life? Are you going to go get a Reiki healing session done? Are you going to go take a basics class somewhere? Are you going to go maybe go do yoga. Maybe you're going to actually follow a morning routine. Who knows? But whatever you do, make it sacred. Make it in touch with the core of your being, and don't let any of the noise from the mental overstimulation of Mercury in detriment here, and don't let the collective consciousness sway you from your own evolution. Yes, be a good Samaritan, be a good civilian, do what you need to do for the people that you love and that need you, but you also need you. So do for you what is right for you, and this is the new moon that gives you that permission to plant that seed, to start that cycle, to implement and integrate that change, and to reap the rewards from it come the full moon in Cancer at the beginning of January, and come the Gemini new moon in June of next year. So with that being said, I hope that this episode resonated for you, that you enjoyed it. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen. If you enjoyed, then go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on the post notification bell so you're notified every time a new video comes out if you're watching on YouTube. But if you're streaming again on a podcast streaming platform, then I would humbly ask you to leave a review. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. And again, if there's any other ones that you want me to make, let me know down below as well. But other than that, I will leave you guys here. Thank you again for tuning in. It is my pleasure to assist you in awakening you to your cosmic divinity. I'm Jo Hummingbird. I will see you in the next episode. Many blessings and take care, my friends.